You can't think of the Kushan Empire without also thinking about their monstrous foot soldiers. Called Daka, these elite warriors have earned fame as well as fear in the Berserk franchise since their debut in issue 232 of the manga. Heck, they even got a prominent placement in the Berserk Monster Manual. Imagine being created through dark magic and an especially sickening birthing technique. Welcome to the dark reality of the Daca. The Berserk franchise is no stranger to horror, and the Daca are a shining, or rather shadowy example of its dark creativity. We're going to explore everything there is to know about the dreaded and dreadful Daca in this video. If you've got a weak stomach, we suggest you don't eat anything until after this video, perhaps maybe even long after this video. Things are gonna get gross. Creation of the Daca. When you realize that Emperor Ganishka himself oversaw the creation of the Daca, you'll get a good idea as to their significance. Add a generous helping of dark magic to the mix, and you have yourself an army worth fearing for more than one reason. The very creation of these sickos showcased just how terrible they were going to be when unleashed against the enemy in war. It all began with Kushan apostles. Yes, religious zealots were involved, but with a twist. More on this soon. Using, or rather abusing, a group of pregnant women and forcing them to give birth to an army under the command of Emperor Ganishka tells us everything we didn't need to know about these monster soldiers. Yes, we know, it's not just dark, it's downright immoral. Now, when you see what the Kushan Empire were doing in the Berserkverse, they were already conducting large-scale ethnic cleansing on the Midlander. Instead of killing any fertile women they found, they repurposed them as unwilling participants in their dark experiments, which led to the horrific creation of the Daca army. We saw them do this much and more at Wyndham when they kidnapped several women to serve as breeders in their man-made Behelit womb. Picture this for a sec. A massive, organic, artificial womb stitched together from various apostles with pregnant women submerged in amniotic fluid within the confines of that flesh sac. And the whole mad scientist setup is linked to the astral world, drawing upon dark and corrupting energies to produce genetically engineered warriors so horrifying they defy the natural order and should by all rights not exist. You'll wish these people would kill you quick and not take you prisoner. The savage Daca warriors are bred for one purpose: destruction. If their hulking forms don't already hint at that, then their physical prowess on the battlefield most surely will. These monsters literally ripped their way out of the wombs that bore them, for crying out loud. Clearly, they woke up and chose violence. Their bone-chilling origin story unashamedly reveals the twisted and unnatural design behind their grotesque bodies. They're a perfect example of what mutants should be. They even grow to adulthood at a super-fast rate, reminiscent of Saruman's Uruk-hai in The Lord of the Rings. Horns, tusks, tough leathery skin, and deformities galore are just some of the way fans remember the Daca. If you've noticed their eyes, there's this zoned-out, almost lifeless appearance to them, which only adds to their unsettling presence. It also makes us wonder just why, oh why, someone would even create something so deplorable. It's unforgivable really, but also from a darkly creative perspective, the Daca's design is undeniably ingenious. Of course, as with any enhanced creation, there's bound to be a weakness somewhere. For the Daca, it was their mandatory reliance on Ganishka's fall. Without the Emperor's misty magic, they become disoriented and ineffective. Sounds like they give Achilles a run for his heel. Curiously enough, the Daca don't possess any inherent sense of loyalty or patriotism. Every single time they're on the field, Kushan sorcerers are also present and actively controlling them, so we can't really tell if there's any real personality per se in the Daca. Just like the Pishacha, magic-infused animal familiars created for battle, the Daca seem to rely on a Kushan caster to locally control their minds. Such lack of autonomy further dehumanizes them, reducing them to mere tools of war. Quick side note, the word Pishacha is strikingly similar to the Sanskrit word Pishach, which refers to flesh-eating demons in Vedic texts. These entities are said to embody sheer evil and are prominent in Hindu and Buddhist mythology. Back to the Berserk version of Pishachas though, the manga as well as the anime have shown the Daca not only fighting alongside battle Pishachas, but also riding them into war. In several instances, they're seen galloping on Pishacha tiger mounts. We bet He-Man has questioned. The half-human, half-demon Daca clearly prove just how power-mad Emperor Ganishka himself is. He not only committed an array of war crimes simply bringing the Daca into the world, but also established just how little care or concern he has for life in general. From the moment these beastly warriors emerge from the artificial Behelit womb, Kushan soldiers grab and cage them and instantly begin their army training. The soldiers even feed the infant Daca flesh from their own dead mothers, whose wombs they'd viciously kicked open in order to be born. This is a level of cruelty that's hard to comprehend. Such callous and cruel techniques make us shudder just thinking about. Part of us doesn't feel like blaming the Daca infants for what they will grow up to be, but then again, we've read and seen what they grow up to be and do in the Berserk manga, so we don't really feel like empathizing right away. For those who find the Daca's creation too extreme or over the top, we would again like to draw your attention to what Saruman did in Lord of the Rings when he captured, tortured, experimented on, and humiliated elves and humans to breed a new race of Uruks, who in similar fashion were also birthed using external artificial wombs. Then, we have Warhammer 40k and its daemon Kulaba. Any Warhammer fans watching right now will immediately feel a pit in their stomach. They know just how bad that stuff is, way worse than Kushan magic. Where one led to the creation of new Chaos Space Marines, the Berserk version led to the making of the Daca. These parallels highlight a recurring theme of unnatural creation in dark fantasy. Either way, the Daca stand out as a uniquely horrifying addition to the genre. The story and role of Daca in the Kushan army. Serving Emperor Ganishka is bad enough. Now imagine being fueled by dark energy from a bunch of Ganishka's elite apostles. There's a reason why the Daca are called pseudo-apostles in the Berserk franchise. As frontline soldiers driven by bloodlust, the Daca don't hesitate to overwhelm their enemies using monstrous strength. Each time Ganishka deploys his supernatural army, the outcome of the battle is often a foregone conclusion. There have been times when the Daca also fought alongside horror-worthy entities like the elephant hybrid Pishachas and other spirit-fused familiars. Enhanced by Ganishka's fog and controlled by Kushan priests, the Daca are a force to be reckoned with. However, their reliance on ungodly strength and rage makes them a predictable target. They lack intelligence, guile, or cunning, meaning skilled combatants have a good chance of winning against these brutes. The word Berserker seems to ideally complement these despicable minions just as much as any other character in the Berserk Anime or Manga. Even Emperor Ganishka uses the Daca as expendable tools, wielding them through his sorcerers without any compunction or care. We think because he can artificially birth and train more of them in a matter of years, weeks, or days, depending on who you ask, Ganishka is more interested in simply using his Daca super soldiers to sow chaos and fear on the battlefield, not to mention a generous amount of carnage. Bear in mind, the Emperor also has a human army whom he keeps at a relatively safe distance until the Daca get the party started. Smart, sadistic, but smart. His Daca work best as a large group anyway. They're trained in battle techniques which include the use of assorted weapons and armor. In addition, they're enhanced human demon beings made of flesh. If, after learning this, Ganishka's enemies don't soil themselves at least a little bit, they're either really stupid or really brave. Though they are superior to humans in strength, the Daca are still flesh and blood, meaning they're not invincible and can be killed. That said, their heightened ferocity combined with Kushan army training means only the most skilled combatants can go up against them and hope to survive. Tell that to the soldiers of Vertanis. Those who know, know. When slain, the Daca revert to their human forms, revealing the half-human origin they had. Unique to the Kushan Empire and unnaturally birthed using a super-secret technique, the Daca are an exclusive addition to the Emperor's arsenal. Despite the incredibly potent role the Daca play in Ganishka's army, they are never seen again after the Emperor falls. This makes us wonder if Emperor Ganishka struck some sort of demonic deal which let him serve as a conduit of sorts to help create the Daca in the first place. Otherwise, his Kushan priests and apostles could have easily carried on making Daca long after the Emperor fell, but that's just our theory. Let us know yours in the comments. Back to the Daca's canonical role, they seem to have met their match with Guts and his crew, which includes Serpico and Isidro. The protagonists of the Berserk anime bring some A-grade hero vibes to the series, thanks in large part to the fact that they can face off and win against the Dark Daca. Guts and his crew went on to give the Daca a run for their bloodlust, proving you don't have to be an unnatural demonic humanoid to go berserk for a cause. There was a scene in issue 267 of the manga, titled Blazing Bay, where Guts tapped into his Beast of Darkness to take on the hordes of Daca so Shirke could safely work her extremely important magic. The Daca even failed against Griffith's apostles, especially the centaur Locus and his horsemen, which gave them a run for their money. The White Falcon and his inhuman coterie made them look bad in ways that might make Emperor Ganishka look for a new PR team. On a weird side note, they should really make more Berserk merchandise featuring the Daca. I think Studio Gaga would be surprised at the fan demand that's out there for these cruel sickos from the Berserk universe. Marvelous verdict! The Berserk franchise, anime and manga both, contain more horrors than just the Daca. The Kushan Emperor is certainly a piece of work for even conceptualizing the depraved technique used to create the Daca. But, like we've said before, they're not without parallels in other franchises. Sauroman did it, the Warhammer priests are guilty of doing it, even Hunter x Hunter's Chimera Ants and Attack on Titan's Wall Titans echo similar kinds of disturbing ideas. Then, there's Muzan Kibutsuji of Demon Slayer fame. Whatever 6 skills in dark magic that Michael Jackson impersonator used to create his exquisitely diverse range of demons is a secret we'd like to someday probe. The Daca are most assuredly one of Guts' most formidable foes. Even though he and his crew have proven to be more than capable of defeating him, that's not to say the act was easy to accomplish. The Daca personify the dark, daring, and despicable elements that make Berserk so compelling. We can think of a few other words to describe them as well, but it's best not to test YouTube's tolerance levels, especially after we explored the origins of the brutish Daca army. We hope you had fun diving into this insane chapter of Berserk canon. BT dubs, the anime is ready to watch on Crunchyroll. Happy viewing, but be warned, this series isn't for the faint-hearted or the weak-bellied. Thanks for watching marvelous videos. Punch those like and subscribe buttons. We have such sights to show you.